Hey, let me talk real quick about yesterday, a little bit about the scrimmage, and I'll open up for a couple of questions. Got a chance to review the scrimmage last night and this morning. Some of the players, we saw what we sort of expected to see. We saw a lot of players making plays that had made plays before. But the thing we've noticed, a lot of our young kids yesterday made a lot of plays. Some of the guys we really weren't expecting to. Keenan Barnes at the wide receiver position had 2 big catches for touchdowns. He's a guy that we think that can be a go-to guy in the future. That big guy, strong hands, can run. It was exciting to see him. Devin Scott had one of his best scrimmages and outings by far, and he showed why. He's got his speed really helps him. I thought he was outstanding. If you look across the board, Deion Ray, the freshman quarterback, redshirt freshman quarterback, I should say. Oh, freshman quarterback, I'm sorry. He enrolled in January, and so he really had an exciting night. I thought he played really well. He ran the ball super efficiently and made some big plays. You know, he's a 10, 400 meters guy that can fly, and it was pretty evident the other night. Not saying that he's moving into contention, but I think he just showed us though that he could be a future candidate for sure for the position. Defensive line-wise, we played a lot of guys. Pretty much got what we thought we'd get out of them. A lot of plays by a lot of different players. In the secondary, we saw some players make plays, and then we saw some guys miss a couple of plays too. So we got to still develop those guys. Our safeties, I thought, were super. We're in position. Travis Crawford, I thought, had a pretty good night. I thought he's played awfully well. Corner position was good most of the night. A couple of big plays, maybe because our receivers made some good plays too. Quarterback position, I thought all 3 moved the ball effectively. By the end of the night, they all 3 had put the team in the end zone. So, you know, we're still not ready to name a starter yet, and that's the truth at this moment. You know, it's still we're trying to figure out this puzzle of who is just going to fit what we want to do. But they all 3 threw the ball well, threw the deep ball well, and the receivers did a nice job of adjusting to the ball. Defensively, I thought we played hard, ran to the ball. We just got to continue running our scheme, running our assignments, and I think that'll come. Kicking game-wise, it was pretty encouraging to see Stevie Ortiz make a 50-yard field goal in the 2-minute period. So that was really encouraging to see. And Coots was a little bit inconsistent, but that was his first time ever punting the ball with a live rush, I should say, coming at him. So I think that was a little different for him, but he got better as the day wore on. So I thought solid first scrimmage. Like I said yesterday, not great, solid, but really good for some kids.
Coach, you mentioned Keenan Barnes, and after now with the injuries with Pace and Jared, you've got those 4 upperclassmen, and after that it's all freshmen. We've seen during practice, you know, Gary Haynes. We've seen, you mentioned Keenan in the scrimmage, Jaquette. Realistically, how many of those guys you think need to be ready to play on the travel squad or just be ready to play?
Well, I didn't mention Gary Haynes. I thought Gary Haynes had a phenomenal evening. He made a bunch of big plays, and he showed he's got Harry Peoples written all over his forehead. We don't use that term lightly. But he's going to play this year. Keenan Barnes is going to play this year. And I think it's down between the other 3, between Jared Jackson, Jamarcus Bradley, and Michael Jaquette, who may be the next one. I would say for sure one more of those final 3 would play this year. And then maybe redshirt the other 2. If it allows you to do that, things like that.
Have you moved anybody else into the slot?
No, you know, Jarrell Richardson's a guy that's going to get some. I take it back. Jarrell Richardson had been there, and he'll keep working that. Lorenzo Cryer, we're moving him into the H position. Some depth there.
You mentioned the D-line. Who's stepped up so far, and who still has to step up?
Well, you know, right now they're all playing good. I'm waiting for that one guy just to play great. You know, Taboris Lee played a lot last year. He's still trying to, I think, get back from that injury. He needs to get a little more consistent, but he's playing well at times. Darius Kidd's another kid that has got to be a really good player for us, Blaine Winston. You know, all these guys to me are playing good right now. Just nobody right now is just stepped up and just played great at that position, but we're getting better. The freshman Daryl Johnson, I thought had a solid scrimmage, so I thought that was a plus to see him take a step forward last night.
Coach Corbin mentioned the other night, Coach, that you guys trying to, and I've heard that Osborne had 2 sacks in the scrimmage, but that you guys trying to find a place for him to play. I mean, what would you view his overall play?
I thought he runs so well. The kid plays hard. He's got a motor like we had never seen. It's been like that all summer too. In our conditioning workouts, you know, he finished with more wins this summer than any player on the team in conditioning workouts. So it's important to him. He works hard. I believe there will come a time when we can find a role for him. He's just trying to put on a little more weight. He's just a young freshman, but he's tall, long, can run awfully well. He got a nose for the ball.
Jordan Wright played anything on that?
He did. Jordan Wright ran the ball well. Started out a little bit slow. You know, first real college scrimmage. Got better as the night wore along. Had a big, strong run there late in the game, and you know, he's sort of that physical back that we're lacking. He can be that type of back for us. You know, he's one of the bigger backs that we have. He's not huge. He's one of our bigger backs.
Which of the 3 moved it most consistently, which is what you're looking for? And even though you haven't made any decision, have you seen enough to narrow it down to 2 at this point?
You know, probably we may be getting close to narrowing it down to 2, but you know, when you go back and look at it, all 3 brought something to the table, and the ones that may have didn't execute as well, you go back and see he had a drop ball on a drive, and that stopped his drive where it was a good pass. And so it all will come down probably in the next, hopefully after this next scrimmage, we'll have to definitely get it down to 2. We may have it down to 2 before then, but you know, only time will tell. We need a little more work to see just who's going to fit what we want to do.
You mentioned you were looking for the quarterbacks to step up a little bit more in the pocket. Did they do any of that?
Yeah, I thought they did. I thought they pushed up a little bit more. We got some guys that can rush the passer, and I thought our defense did a really nice job of getting pressure when we get past the ball. And we've got to do a better job in protection in some areas, but we had to piecemeal the offensive line together a little bit because of injuries. And some guys, 2s were going with 1s, 1s were going with 2s. And so it wasn't a cohesive unit all night long, and so that probably played into it a little bit. But we've got some guys up front now that I think will be outstanding. So I really feel good about our starting 5. Who's got to develop some depth.
How do you feel Darzel Washington's going to fit in scheme-wise in the defense?
Well, we're hoping he's going to be, you know, more of an every-down player. This kid, you know, he is one of the fastest guys on the field. He's got a great first step, very elusive. Runs the ball well. I'm hoping he can be more of an every-down player rather than just a third-down player like we used him last year.
You started to allude to it. The receivers made good plays, but the cornerbacks got beat a little bit. But maybe that was because of the wide receivers made good plays. How do you judge what was good and what was bad?
Yeah, as far as quarterbacks.
Was the good because of the bad?
Yeah, well, as far as quarterbacks, did they go through the right progression, go to the right guy, and if they dropped it, I don't even worry about that. I still count it as completion in my mind. Take the proper read, go to the right guy. Did they execute the play well? Did they manage the game? Did they miss any calls? Did they miss any checks? And getting down to see who's just the most consistent, and then also who can get us out of pressure too. You know, because every throw a quarterback makes this, I bet you only half or a third of the passes you make are sitting back there in the pocket on rhythm. Well, you know, more times than not, you're going to see, you know, where the quarterback has to move over, move left, move up, scramble right or left to make a throw. So, you know, it comes down to who can make a play for us.
Coach, you kind of know what you have in Nick Bourne at tight end. Tafford now coming back from that knee, but you kind of know what you got in him as well. Talk about some of those guys, and maybe in the scrimmage that you're kind of looking for that third person to step up somewhere.
Yeah, you know, the third spot's going to be between Beasley and Carlos Robinson. And Beasley's, you know, sort of been with our program for a while. He's put on good weight. He had an okay scrimmage last night. Carlos Robinson had a big catch on the seam pattern. I think both of those guys will end up playing. We'll travel 4 tight ends, and I think both those guys will end up playing this year.
Jamal Robinson said you challenged him to be more of a vocal leader this year with a lot of youth now at that position. How is he, comfort level-wise, how is he doing in that?
You know, he's done pretty good at practice when he hadn't been able to go. He's been pretty vocal, helping coaching the young guys, making sure they know what to do, and that's good to see. When the old guys start coaching the younger guys, that makes a difference. And so I have noticed that in him, and I think he can continue to do that. That'll be good for us.
Did you come out of the scrimmage healthy?
Excuse me?
Come out of the scrimmage healthy?
We did. I don't think we had anything substantial, nothing that will be too substantial, so that was a plus. And so at this moment, you know, after we lost 2 receivers in the first 4 days, we definitely can't afford to lose anybody else. And so we've got to be smart. When we do scrimmage, we got to make sure we are smart with our players and make sure we get our guys to the first game.
Did Jamarcus Bradley scrimmage?
He did not. Yeah, he did not. But he'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, Friday. Or Saturday.
Any other position changes?
We moved one of the walk-ons, Chris Collins, from defensive back to wide receiver. Gives a little more depth there in practice. And the lines, like I told him, the line's much shorter to get on the field at receiver than he is at outside linebacker.
Coach, for those guys like a Ephraim Reed or Carter that are part of that running back rotation, how much does it help them, the ones that have experience that are upperclassmen, how much does that help them when they don't know, hey, I might get a low amount of carries, I might get a bit, depending on the matchup and the situation. How much does having experience help them deal with that?
A lot. You know, a lot of young kids probably won't be able to handle that, you know, well when they're only getting a certain number of snaps and you're sharing time with 3 other guys. But they're mature and they know their role. They know their role, and they're willing to do anything we ask of them. And there's a reason they have to Reed, Montrell Carter all have, and Torrey Pierce have 4 bowl rings. It's because they're unselfish. It's because they work hard and they put the team first.
Who's playing behind Tobel?
Behind Tobel would be Duhan.
Couple more questions, guys.
Where was DeGrange playing?
DeGrange is playing behind them too. He'd be the 3rd. And based on the personnel that comes in the game, DeGrange sometimes is a nickel type guy.
Coach, do you need, I know that with all the changes on defense and bringing in, and you guys went through a lot of that in the spring, but were you able to get the substitutions off and on and off the field when you guys were going hurry up on offense?
You know, we probably need to clean it up a little bit. At times last night, you could tell it was the first scrimmage. Handled it well at times. Some of the twos didn't handle it quite as well, so we got to make sure we clean that up, and hopefully we can do that this next scrimmage next Tuesday.
But that's not unordinary at this time of year.
That don't bother me a whole lot right now. I'm more about guys taking their gap, making a tackle, making the block, playing with good fundamentals, and all that other stuff. We can get that handled and get that fixed pretty easy.
In terms of the return game, clearly Fusilier, Riles being involved. Is that somewhere where we can see Gary Haynes maybe getting some touches?
At the punt return game, possibly Gary with Elijah McGuire, and then I thought Brazil last night hit really hard on the kickoff return that he had. He's going to get a look there along with Gabe. I see him and Gabe being on kickoff returns.
What's Jacoby Briscoe got to do to really make that sort of next step for you?
He's got to get in shape. Yeah, he's got to get in better shape. When he's fresh and he's out there, he's hard to block. He is explosive, very strong to the point of attack. He's just got to get himself in better shape in order to play more downs.
Is he a guy that could be like that one down guy for you, or do you need him to?
Yeah, he's a guy, you know, like we put him in the goal line the other day on the goal line scrimmage, and he made 2 big plays. And as he gets himself in more game shape, he'll be more effective also. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep.